This is a story called The Time-Dilated Generations. Prologue, Goodbye Earth, by Plus West 4939, under the subreddit HFY. Noah stood in the dim glow of the vast observation chamber, his breath shallow and his arms wrapped around himself for comfort. Beyond the glass of that chamber, Earth loomed in the void, silent, wounded, abandoned. The last remnants of humanity had left their cradle behind, not in triumph, but out of necessity. He wasn't alone. Around him, 500 souls gathered in reverent silence, their faces reflecting the ghostly blue of their homeworld for the final time. Their vessel, Rho Cassiopeia, named after the distant star that would one day cradle their descendants, drifted slowly away from the planet that had birthed them. It was a sight no human in that spaceship would ever witness again, not in a lifetime, nor in hundreds of years. The date was seared into Noah's mind, May 25th, 2276. It was more than just a marker in time. It was an epitaph. Exactly 2 centuries ago, on this very day, the remaining leaders of a humanity facing extinction confronted an undeniable truth. Earth, ravaged by forces mankind had unleashed that became beyond their control, could no longer sustain them. For mankind, survival meant exodus. Almost everyone else had already left. Over the past 80 years, one by one, the last remnants of humanity had abandoned their dying world. Now, only a handful, 20 frail souls, remained behind, sheltered in the moon's underground facilities. Too old to endure the rigors of interstellar travel, they had chosen to spend their final days watching over what little remained. But their fate was sealed. The event that had driven mankind to the brink, the singularity, the great filter, would probably soon erase them as well, leaving behind only silence. Noah stood in the observation chamber, his heart heavy as he watched Earth shrink against the endless black. His ship, Rho Cassiopeia, was the last to depart. The other 9 generational vessels, humanity's final gamble against extinction, had already vanished into the void, accelerating toward their distant destinations. Each was bound for an uncertain future, their journeys spanning hundreds of years. Rho Cassiopeia had the longest path to travel, 8,200 light-years to an uncharted world orbiting a distant star. The ship was just beginning the process of acceleration, a year-long endeavor that would eventually bring them to 99% the speed of light. In mere minutes, Earth would be nothing more than a faint speck against the backdrop of space. Everyone in the chamber knew it. No one wanted to look away. This was the last moment they would ever see their homeworld, the last moment to say goodbye. Faces around him were etched with sorrow. The planet they were leaving behind had once been the perfect cradle for life, the only known place in the universe to give rise to something as rare and improbable as sentience. And now they were abandoning it forever. Though they had all known this day would come, had prepared for it across generations, the finality of it was unbearable. Some broke down in tears, their silent sobs lost in the vast emptiness of space. They had always known their futures would be uncertain. But now, staring at the vanishing Earth, the reality hit them harder than any preparation ever could. The best-case scenario was a harsh and unforgiving existence. The worst was oblivion. No one currently alive on Rho Cassiopeia would ever set foot on solid ground again. No one would feel the warmth of a sunlit breeze, the crunch of soil beneath their feet, or the simple joy of wandering aimlessly through a boundless landscape. Their world was now confined to metal corridors and artificial light, a prison of necessity that would persist for hundreds of years. Noah felt something inside him fracture, something that no amount of preparation could have prevented. He had spent his entire life bracing for this moment, but no simulation, no thought experiment, no mental conditioning could shield him from the weight of reality when it finally arrived. The ship shuddered as its engines continued their gradual acceleration. One by one, the crew began to disperse, reluctant but resigned, leaving behind the sight of their lost world. Some lingered, unwilling to face what awaited them in the years ahead, but eventually even they turned away. Noah exhaled slowly and forced himself to move. He had a job to do, one of the most vital responsibilities on the ship. He oversaw the hydroponic growth systems, the cornerstone of their entire food supply and breathable air production. His work would determine not just the survival of the 500 souls aboard Rho Cassiopeia, but the sustainability of the generations to come. The systems he built and maintained would have to last for more than 1,000 years. At least he wasn't alone. Through instant communication, he and his fellow specialists aboard the other generational ships would work together, sharing knowledge, supporting one another, keeping humanity's fragile hope alive. They were scattered across the void, each vessel an isolated island in an endless ocean, but they were not completely severed. They were connected by an invisible thread, a quantum signal that defied the laws of traditional physics, binding them together in the face of the unknown. And so, with one final glance at the fading dot that had once been Earth, Noah turned and walked toward the heart of the ship, toward his duty, toward the future. That was a prologue called Goodbye Earth, for the story The Time-Dilated Generations, by PlusWest4939, under the subreddit HFY. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope to see you next time.